This is Contractor Sense with Ruth King.
Welcome to Contractor Sense. Here you discover ideas, tactics, news, and information that matters to your contracting business and you. I'm your host, Ruth King. This episode is sponsored by Profitability Movement. Google Profitability-Movement to join this community of business owners focused on building profit, increasing wealth, and giving back. Thank you for joining us. Here is how we will help your business and you today. What happens when law meets technology? You get more efficient, better data, and a better outcome. Imagine creating a contract and managing it in one platform. This helps you spend less time in the office and more time in the field. You'll have document management and a legal team behind your business, ensuring the documents are working for you rather than against you. My guest today, Karalynn Cromeens, shows you how JobTread can help you merge technology and law. Karalynn, welcome to Contractor Sense.
Oh, thank you for having me again, Ruth. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I mean, last time we talked about lien law, which is things that everybody has to be aware of because it's not fun not to get paid.
Absolutely. It's all about the money.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about, the thing that you're doing to merge technology and law. JobTread.
Yeah. So what we're doing is, contractors they're really good at their jobs. They're really busy and they want to protect themselves legally, but sometimes it's hard to take the time to do it or schedule a meeting with an attorney. And so it just doesn't get done. Right. And so I've partnered with JobTread so you can buy the legal services, the legal contracts you need for your business in JobTread. And then it's still a custom contract that we create for you based on your trade, based on your state. But we create it and then we give it back to JobTread and it becomes part of your proposal and it integrates with the whole system. So we do change orders, we do the master subcontracts. It makes everything all in one place. And then two, from the legal perspective, if something happens later on down the line, you have it all in one place. I don't have to spend my life diving through banker boxes to find everything I need.
The reality is that you can be sure that the contracts are okay. Also, I'll give you a story with one of my clients right now who's working with an attorney. They want a liquidated damages clause in the contract, which he refuses to sign, and his attorney agreed because the supply issues are we don't know when the equipment's coming in, and it's like a 26-week order cycle, and they refuse to let it out, take it out, and he refuses to sign the contract, so they're at a standstill. But if he had not done that and read the contract, he would, who knows when the equipment's going to come in.
Yeah. And then he's got a per day charge for something that he can't control. I mean, it's happening over and over again. And either people are going to have to learn to be more flexible or stuff's going to stop getting done.
Yeah. So, I mean, JobTread takes care of stuff like that, right?
Absolutely. And so, and having a contract and understanding the things in the contract before you sign them, because what we're running into people is, signing other people's contracts, not knowing what they're saying. And then they're like, oh, wait, they're asking me to, because, with the project's behind schedule, even though it's not my fault, they're asking me to work overtime. Can I get paid for that? And of course, under the terms of the contract that they can't. But JobTread is a great platform for job costing, dealing with your clients, dealing with your subs. If you have subs, just everything's all in one place. And now you add the legal perspective on there. It's the first time that I think tech and legal have gone together as far as protecting the contractor on the front end.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, and you see this in your practice, I'm sure, they start calling you when they're in trouble.
Absolutely. And I'm really trying to do my best to get on the front end, both for residential and commercial contractors. So like on the commercial side, let me read it and tell you what's in there before you sign it. On the residential side, let's have something in plain English so your customer can understand it so we can manage expectations. Because for both guys, the main thing we need to do and the main purpose of a contract is to manage expectations so we don't get in a bad position later on.
Yep, absolutely. So how did you find JobTread?
And, actually, we were kind of on the same circuit. We were at the PCA, the painting convention in Orlando, and he had just kind of launched his thing. And I had just kind of come into this market as a speaker. And, I was trying to figure out how we could integrate it. And I'd actually talked to some other companies, too, to try to figure this out. And I couldn't find anybody that was overly interested. But Eric, the owner of JobTread, is still a young, fresh company. And they're really trying to make themselves different on the level of customer service that they provide, which is very much in line with our view as well. And so, listening to, they were always getting asked questions because they have some boilerplate terms and conditions. They're like, hey, is this a good contract? He's like, no, I don't know, because this is not what we do, right? We do the platform. So he's like, no, but, and he didn't have anywhere to send them. And then he would send them out in the world, with no CYA protection.
Yeah.
And kind of felt bad about it. And so we partnered and worked on this idea for a while to make it work and to make it flow.
Yeah. And it's a really great idea, because normally the law is the law. There's no technology in law. And then you have some technologies with contracts, and job management. And the two generally don't come together. This is so much easier for somebody on the front end.
Yeah, absolutely. Because what we got going on a lot now too is that, yes, the contractors decided that technology portion is essential, right?
Yeah.
But they still carry around a paper contract to get it signed, right? And the two don't work together. They don't jive together. And so you still end up with paper and it'll get lost and you don't have the contract. And so now, or people don't remember the terms. And so now it's all in one place to manage the agreement.
Yeah. And I assume they can sign off on DocuSign or something like that.
Yeah, they sign off on DocuSign all in there. And the great thing too, like JobTread, like you can go in there, they sign off, they can pay the deposit at the same time, right? Whenever they're ready. And that's the other great thing too, is like the client's reading through it. It could be, like at 11 o'clock at night or 5 a.m. in the morning, whatever works best for them. They don't, you don't have to be there to answer the phone to take the contract to get the payment. It's all, once they sign up, it's all done. It's all right there.
That's cool. All right. So before we go to break, after break, I want to talk about how somebody actually uses it, how the integration works, and how they log on and all that sort of fun stuff. If somebody's interested in doing this, where do they find you?
So I'm at the CromeensLawFirm.com, but JobTread is JobTread.com, and they have some like free. You can schedule a free introduction to how to use their system. They have great customer service, and then we can go through the technicals of how to get the legal side on JobTread once you're a JobTread customer.
Yeah, cool. So give everybody your your website again, please. I'm sorry.
No worries. The CromeensLawFirm.com, and it's CROMEENS.
Very good. Thank you. We will be right back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense.
Many times, relatives are recruited to do your company's books without knowing how to do the books. Or you hire a bookkeeper who really doesn't know bookkeeping. If this is you, then your books are probably inaccurate. You probably pay more taxes than you should, and you rarely look at a P&L and balance sheet because you know they are wrong. What do? Have your bookkeeper enroll in Ruth King's Contractor Bookkeeping Basics. After completing this online course, your bookkeeper will know bookkeeping. You'll get accurate financial statements that help you make good business financial decisions. To enroll, click on the link in the show notes or call us at 770-729-0258. Enroll today.
We're back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. I'm speaking with Karalynn Cromeens, and we're talking about the coming together of technology and law and the legal part of what you're doing, integrating with technology, which I think is something that normally doesn't happen. I mean, most of the time we have the law piece, we have the contract piece, and we have the job piece, and the two of them don't match. And Karalynn, you actually made it come together. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we did. And the great thing about it too is it's all in one place. It's so much, if you do get in a dispute, it's so much cost efficient, right? I've spent a lot of my time over the years, especially in my earlier years, going through boxes of paperwork to find the things that I need. And now if you have even, you have all of your documents on a software, on a platform, we can search by keyword. We can, you can link all your emails, and everything becomes much more streamlined. You don't have to spend as much money on attorneys trying to find the things that they need to defend you, because they can just get on and search your platform. And so it's really going to make, things more efficient and less likely to have disputes in the long run.
Yeah. So, okay. So somebody's listening to this podcast and they say, I'm really interested in this. How does it work? Do I go to JobTread? Do I call you on the phone? I mean, literally what happens? How do you take somebody into this process?
So either way, so probably the easiest way is they go to JobTread, they look around, they sign up, which when you sign up with JobTread, there's no long-term commitment, right? They do a month-to-month fee, which is actually a lot lower than all of the other softwares out there. And then once you're a JobTread customer, they have this thing in there called the marketplace. And so it's a marketplace, which is a tab in the software, and you at the top of the thing, at the top of your web page, and you go in there and you'll see once you get to the marketplace, it'll have my logo in the center of the Cromeens law firm. And so you click on that, and then there's 3 different options. There's a contract, terms and conditions. There is a residential repair remodel contract, and then there's a subcontract agreement. We started with these 3 things because that's what most of the JobTread customers were using. And we plan on growing it, but we wanted to see how these 3 different types of contracts work. So the terms and conditions are for contractors that are in and out in a day or two, something under a week, right? So it just like if you're coming in, you get paid a deposit, paid upon completion. Let's have some terms and conditions that's going to cover you down the line. Like, what does your warranty look like? You know, what standards are you being judged by? Things like are very important to CYA. And then the residential remodel repairs for guys with longer term projects, like anything over 2 weeks, a larger dollar amount that has milestone payments. And that contract is very much plain English. All of the contracts are, and it's got the milestone payments, what happens for change orders, schedules, all of the things that's very important. And then the third one that we sell on there is the master subcontract agreement. And so this is for contractors who are hiring subs to do the work. And what it is, the master part is all the legal terms and conditions as far as insurance, insurance requirements, the pay when paid clause, all of the stuff that needs to follow them for all of the projects. And they sign that once. And then for each project, you issue a work order that says, hey, on this project, you're gonna be hired to do this work. Here's the schedule. Here's how much you're gonna get paid. But it relates back to that original contract. So they're covered by the terms on each job that they do. And so you pick one of those, you purchase those, it automatically sends an email to my customer service system, and you'll get a response back with a link, a calendar link to schedule a meeting with the attorney to go over kind of, what your business, your state, what's important to you once, after you paid for the contract. And then within 5 business days from that meeting with the attorney, you'll have a contract. We'll email it to you with the things that you require for your trade, your state. And then in that email, when they send the draft of the contract, you'll be another link to schedule a meeting. We'll schedule like an exit interview, kind of walk through the contract, make sure you understand everything, see if you have any questions. And then once it's approved, we'll send you the Word doc, but we'll also send it back to JobTread, who will then put it in as part of your proposal. So once you send out your proposal, you put the contract there. Once it's accepted, all the terms and conditions are in there. They sign off on DocuSign, and then you're protected, right? You've done the thing that you wake up worrying in the middle of the night, like, hey, I haven't done, I don't have the right contract. I've never had an attorney look at this. What am I exposing myself to, right? And so that fear in the back of your mind can go away. You can take a deep breath and just go do your job.
So what happens, let's assume that you send the contract to the customer and then the customer throws up, doesn't like some of the terms. How does that get altered?
Okay. And so yeah, absolutely. And so there might be things that they don't understand when they want to change the terms on, and then you can just go in on that particular proposal and go in and edit and then resend it. And so if any, and that for that customer, that's the contract. And, I talk to my contractor clients all the time, and they get really nervous if a client wants to alter their contract. And if it's just little minor changes and you can understand the client's reasoning why, it's not really a big deal. If they want to change the whole thing, it's probably a red flag. Might be walking into a difficult situation.
Yeah, I mean, I learned a long time ago, and you probably did too, if somebody is almost impossible to work with on the front end, it doesn't get any better.
Exactly. Exactly. It's not going to, it's like on the first date, that's the best they're ever going to get, right?
Yeah, no kidding. And a lot of times if somebody's absolutely, at least from my perspective, not willing to do some of the things that really need to get done, I walk away. Yeah. Because it doesn't get any better.
No, absolutely. And it happens, I talk to, if you end up in my office in a dispute, 90% of the people that end up there are like, man, I knew before we signed the contract, I shouldn't have done this project. And so I just try to reiterate, trust your gut in this situation, right? You can do the job, but is it worth it in the long run? If it's going to take, if there's a never ending punch list, or if it's never going to make the client happy and you're going to end up in a dispute no matter what you do.
Yeah, that's not fun. And you're right, them having a contract that protects them on the front end, and if the customer redlines the entire contract, that should be a warning sign of something's not right.
Exactly. And you'd be surprised. It's usually, I hear contractors all the time, are scared to work for attorneys. Usually it's not the attorneys that are redlining stuff. So I I'm hiring a contractor to do to put a pool in my backyard. And I always tell them up front what I do for a living. And most of them won't work with me just because of who I am, but I don't want them to find out that's what my job is and I didn't tell them, and they can feel like I was hiding something from them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I want to be upfront with them, just like I expect them to be upfront with me.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to put a contract in place that's fair for everybody.
I agree. We're not trying to get over on anybody. We're trying to get a job done. The contractor does the work and deserves to be paid, and the owner, ends to pay for a good product. So, we've been building things for, millennia.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that difficult.
Nope, definitely not. So cool. All right. So why don't you summarize the pain points that this takes care of?
So this really takes care of the pain point of, I can't find an attorney. They're going to be too expensive. They don't ever answer the phone. I don't, this whole process, I don't know what it looks like. Even if I get it, how am I going to implement it into my system? So it really streamlines the process. So all of those questions are answered up front before you even sign up. It's going to be a 5 business day turnaround. The flat fee cost. Our number. You can schedule meetings, and then it's in your system. It's there. You don't have to worry about it and you don't have to walk around with a paper contract that doesn't work in your system and be afraid of losing that. So it just so many things that I think most contractors have the best of intentions. It's on their list of things to do, but trying to find an attorney that's going to do it, and what are they going to charge, and the time that takes to negotiate something like that, and being on the phone, and it's just a lot. And so if we can streamline it, it'll be more effective because people will actually do it.
Yep, absolutely. Karalynn, thank you so much. So if you are interested, JobTread, JOBTREAD.com, or the CromeensLawFirm.com, and CROMEENS. Correct?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for being my guest.
No worries.
And thanks to all of you too. Choose one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Please review this podcast on any device you're listening to it on. Help a fellow contractor make more money too. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-0258 or email Ruth King at hvacchannel.tv. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable day.